You know, Emma, I've met so many English learners who can read complex articles, they can understand most movies without subtitles, but the moment a native speaker asks them a simple question, they just freeze. Completely.
Oh my God, Andrew, that's exactly me. It's like my brain just shuts down. My mouth opens, but nothing comes out. Welcome to SpeakCast English, everyone. And yes, that is my biggest problem. Oh, I really need this. I feel like I'm stuck in this translation loop. When someone asks me something, first I hear it in English, then my brain quickly translates it to Vietnamese. I think of an answer in Vietnamese, then I translate that answer back into English, and then I try to say it. By that time, the conversation has moved on, or I just look like I'm not listening.
That's so common, Emma. Most people don't realize that this isn't just an English problem. It's a brain problem, or rather, a brain habit. Your brain is incredibly efficient, right? It always tries to take the easiest path.
The easiest path? But it feels like the hardest path for me.
Here's the thing. When you first learned English, you were constantly making connections between English words and Vietnamese words. You learned, hello means xin chào, book means sack. Your brain built a superhighway between those two languages. It thought, great, I've got a system here. When I need English, I'll just route it through Vietnamese.
Ah, so my brain is just being lazy, in a way? Sticking to what it knows.
Precisely. It's not lazy, it's just efficient. It found a way to process information, and it's going to keep using that well-worn path until you give it a reason to build a new one. Think about it like this. If you always drive the same road to work, even if there's a new, faster highway, you'll probably stick to the old road for a while, right? Because it's familiar.
Yes, I do that. Even if the old road has traffic, I know all the turns. I don't have to think.
Exactly. And that's what's happening in your head. Your brain knows the old road of translating. It's comfortable, even if it's slow and causes traffic jams in your conversations.
It really does cause traffic jams. I remember last month, I was at a networking event, and someone asked me, "So, what do you do for a living?" Such a simple question, right?
A classic.
And I knew the words. What do you do for a living? I understood it. But then my brain went straight to, Toi lam nagigi? And then I thought, Toi lamo na thiet ke duwa. And then I tried to translate, na thiet ke duwa, to, graphic designer. By the time I was ready to say, I'm a graphic designer, the person had already started talking to someone else. I felt so silly.
Oh, Emma, that's such a common experience. Honestly, it happens to almost everyone who learns a second language. Your brain is trying to be helpful, but it's actually slowing you down. It's like trying to run a race with a heavy backpack full of dictionaries.
A heavy backpack of dictionaries. That's a perfect image. So, what do I do? How do I get my brain to stop taking the old road and build this new, faster highway?
Well, the secret is you have to start building direct connections in your brain. You need to train your brain to associate English words directly with concepts, images, and feelings, not just with their Vietnamese equivalents.
Direct connections. So, when I see a table, I just think, table, not, table equals kai ban.
Precisely. That's the first step. And it sounds simple, but it requires conscious effort at first. Let me tell you about a technique called English labeling.
English labeling? That sounds like putting stickers on things?
Kind of, but it's all in your head. Here's how it works. For a set period each day, let's say 15 minutes, you actively try to label everything around you in English. When you look at your coffee cup, you don't think, coffee, you think, coffee cup. You see a chair, you think, chair. You see your phone, you think, phone.
Even if I already know the word?
Especially if you already know the word. The goal isn't to learn new vocabulary here. The goal is to strengthen that direct link between the object and the English word, bypassing Vietnamese completely. You're essentially telling your brain, hey, for this object, this is the name I want to use directly.
Okay, I think I get it. So, if I'm walking to work, instead of thinking, see me, when I see a motorcycle, I just think, motorcycle.
Exactly. And don't just think the word. Try to feel the word or imagine the object. When you see a tree, don't just say, tree, in your head. Imagine the leaves, the bark, the way it sways in the wind, all while thinking, tree. You're building a rich, direct connection.
Wow, that sounds intense. But I can see how it would work. Like, really drill it into my brain. But what if I don't know the word for something? Like, if I see a specific type of flower and I don't know its English name?
That's a great question, Emma. And this is where it gets interesting. If you don't know the word, you have a couple of options. Option 1. Describe it in English. So, for the flower, you might think it's a small, red flower with many petals. You're still keeping your thoughts in English. Option 2. Make a mental note to look it up later. But don't switch to Vietnamese to search for it in your head.
Don't switch to Vietnamese. Okay, that's the hard part. My brain just automatically goes there.
It will at first. That's why it's a practice. You're literally rewiring your brain. And it takes consistency. Try doing this for 5 minutes, 3 times a day. You'll be amazed at how quickly those new pathways start to form.
5 minutes, 3 times a day. I can definitely try that. It feels less overwhelming than trying to do it all day.
Exactly. Small, consistent steps. And let's try a mini shadowing moment for this idea. I'll say a phrase slowly, and you repeat it, then we'll invite our listeners. The phrase is direct connection.
Direct connection.
Fantastic. Okay, listeners, repeat after us. Direct connection. This phrase is key to stopping the translation habit.
Okay, so English labeling. I'll start with that. But what about when I'm not just looking at objects? What about my thoughts? Like, when I'm planning my day or just thinking about what I want for lunch. My internal monologue is 99% in Vietnamese.
Ah, the internal monologue. This is probably the most powerful technique for truly thinking in English. Most people don't realize how much their internal thoughts influence their spoken language.
Really? So, if I think in Vietnamese, I'll speak in Vietnamese?
Not exactly, but it creates that lag. If your default thinking language is Vietnamese, then every time you need to speak English, your brain has to perform that translation step. If you start thinking in English, even imperfectly, you're essentially practicing speaking English all the time, even when you're alone.
So, I should try to think about my grocery list in English? Or what I'm going to do after work?
Absolutely. Start small. Maybe when you wake up, before you even get out of bed, spend 5 minutes just thinking about your day in English. Okay, I need to brush my teeth. Then I'll make coffee. What should I wear today? Is it going to rain? Don't worry about perfect grammar or vocabulary. Just try to keep the thoughts flowing in English.
But what if I get stuck? Like, I want to think, my cat is so fluffy, but I don't remember the word, fluffy.
Great example. This is where you get creative, just like with the labeling. You could think, my cat is very soft. Its fur is like a cloud. Or you could simply think, my cat is very, and then move on. The key is to not switch to Vietnamese. Stay in English, even if it means simplifying your thoughts or using a synonym.
Stay in English, even if I sound like a child in my head?
Absolutely. That's how children learn. They don't worry about perfect sentences. They just try to express themselves. Your internal monologue is your private English playground. No one is judging you there. It's where you can make all the mistakes you want.
That's a good point. I'm always so worried about making mistakes when I speak to people. But in my head, who cares?
Exactly. And the more you practice thinking in English, the more natural it will feel. You'll start to notice that words and phrases just come to you more quickly when you need to speak. It's like building muscle memory for your brain.
So, this is like building a whole new internal world in English. Not just labeling things, but living inside the English language in my head.
That's a beautiful way to put it, Emma. You're creating an English-speaking environment within your own mind. Let me tell you a quick story about this. I had a friend who was learning French, and he was really struggling with fluency. He tried everything. I told him about this internal monologue idea. He started describing everything he was doing, thinking about his plans, even arguing with himself in French in his head.
Arguing with himself? That sounds funny.
It was. He said it felt silly at first, but after a few weeks, he noticed a huge difference. When he went to order coffee, the French words just came out without him even thinking about it. He wasn't translating, he was just speaking. His brain had gotten used to processing information directly in French.
Wow, that's inspiring. I can imagine myself trying to argue with myself in English now. Why did I eat that extra cookie, Emma? You know you shouldn't have.
Perfect. That's exactly the kind of natural, everyday thinking that builds fluency. And here's another shadowing moment for this idea. The phrase is, think in English.
Think in English.
Great. Listeners, repeat after us. Think in English. It's your secret weapon.
Okay, so English labeling and thinking in English. These both sound like really active things I have to do. What if I'm just listening to something, or watching a movie? How can I stop translating then?
That's where the third technique comes in, and it's less about active production and more about active reception and description. It's about immersing yourself in English content and then describing it back to yourself, or even to a friend.
Describing it back? Like, summarizing?
Yes, but with a twist. Let's say you watch a short video clip, maybe a news report or a scene from a TV show. Instead of just watching it and understanding it, then thinking about it in Vietnamese, try to immediately describe what you saw and heard in English.
So, like, the woman in the blue dress walked into the room and sat down.
Exactly. And don't just stop there. Add details. The woman in the blue dress, who looked quite tired, walked slowly into the brightly lit room and carefully sat down on the red sofa. You're not just summarizing. You're actively engaging with the content in English. You're making your brain process the information and then immediately produce output in English.
Oh, I see. So it's like a mini speaking practice, even if no one is listening.
Precisely. And you can do this with anything. Read a short article, then tell yourself or a friend, this article was about climate change, and it mentioned that the temperatures are rising faster than expected. You're forcing your brain to connect the input directly to English output, bypassing the Vietnamese translation.
This sounds like it would really help with my freezing problem. Because I'm practicing forming sentences in my head, or out loud, without the pressure of a real conversation.
It absolutely will. The more you practice forming those sentences in a low-pressure environment, the faster and more natural they'll become when you're in a real conversation. Most people don't realize that fluency isn't just about knowing words. It's about the speed at which your brain can access and arrange those words into coherent sentences.
So, it's like building speed for my brain. I need to train it to go from understanding to speaking without the detour.
That's a perfect analogy, Emma. You're essentially creating a direct mental link between comprehension and expression, all within the English language framework. Let me tell you about a student I once taught in Vietnam. She was very shy, and she told me she always felt like she had nothing to say in English, even when she knew the words.
That's me, too. I have ideas, but they get stuck.
Right. So I suggested this describing technique. She started watching her favorite Vietnamese dramas, but she'd pause them every few minutes and try to describe what just happened, or what she thought the characters were feeling, all in English. At first, it was very difficult. She said she felt silly talking to her TV.
I would feel silly too.
But after a month, she came back to me beaming. She said she was able to hold a 5-minute conversation with a tourist in Ho Chi Minh City without freezing for the first time ever. She realized that by constantly describing things in English, she had built up this internal bank of ready-to-use phrases and sentence structures. Her brain just pulled them out when she needed them.
That's amazing. So, it's not just about thinking single words, but also thinking in longer phrases and sentences.
Exactly. You're practicing forming those mini narratives, which is what real conversation is all about. And the beauty of it is, you can do this anytime, anywhere. While you're waiting for the bus, while you're doing chores, while you're watching YouTube.
Okay, I'm starting to feel a little more hopeful now. It sounds like a lot of work, but it's work I can do by myself, which is good for my shy brain.
It is work, but it's incredibly effective work. And it's fun once you get into the habit. You'll start noticing your brain making those connections more easily. And here's our final shadowing moment for this technique. The phrase is, describe in English.
Describe in English.
Perfect. And for all our listeners out there, repeat after us. Describe in English. Try it with anything you see or hear today.
Okay, so, to recap, we have English labeling, thinking in English, and describing in English. These all sound like they're building the same muscle, just in different ways.
That's a great way to summarize it, Emma. They're all designed to build that direct pathway in your brain, bypassing the need for translation. They're helping you develop what we call English intuition.
English intuition. I like that. It sounds like I'll just know what to say, instead of having to figure it out.
Precisely. It's about getting to the point where English just feels natural, like an extension of your own thoughts, not a separate language you have to process.
So, thinking about all these techniques, I think the one I'm going to start with this week is the thinking in English internal monologue. Because I spend so much time just thinking to myself, I feel like I could really make progress there without needing any special tools or other people. I'll start with my morning routine. Get up, brush teeth, make coffee.
That's a fantastic choice, Emma. Starting with your internal monologue is often the quickest way to see a shift because you're doing it all the time anyway. It's a habit you already have, you're just changing the language.
Yeah, I'm going to try to describe my cat, too. She's so fluffy and cute. I'll try to think about her in English.
Excellent. And for all of you listening at home, our challenge for you this week is similar to Emma's. Pick just one of these techniques, English labeling, thinking in English, or describing in English, and commit to practicing it for just 5 minutes a day. Just 5 minutes.
5 minutes is totally doable.
It is. Try to make it a consistent 5 minutes. Maybe it's during your commute, or while you're doing dishes, or right before you go to sleep. The key is consistency over intensity. Don't try to do it perfectly, just try to do it.
I'm really excited to try this. I feel like this could actually break my translation habit.
I have no doubt it will, Emma. It takes time, but your brain is incredibly adaptable. Just keep giving it that consistent English input and practice, and it will build those new pathways.
Thank you, Andrew. This has been so helpful. I always thought I just had to try harder to speak faster, but it's really about changing how my brain processes things.
That's the real insight, isn't it? It's not about trying harder, it's about training smarter. So, to recap, remember to build those direct connections between English words and concepts, practice thinking in English in your head, and actively describe what you see and hear around you in English. These aren't just tricks, they're fundamental shifts in how your brain processes language.
Yeah, and the heavy backpack of dictionaries analogy really stuck with me. I want to take that backpack off. Your feedback helps us create more episodes just for you. So please share your thoughts. We'll see you next time. Keep practicing, everyone.
Bye for now. Alright, that's a wrap for today. Seriously though, which part of this felt most real to you?
Drop your answer in the comments. And if this helped you, like this video and subscribe. We post new episodes every single day.
This has been SpeakCast English. Thanks for listening. Keep practicing, keep pushing, and we'll see you in the next one.